What's up, my friends? Well, we kind of did it again. I'm back at WestJet Cargo. This time it's not fish. This time it's an animal for the zoo, for Realm Natura. And it's definitely not an animal that most people would ever want to own, or shouldn't own, I guess. When you're shipping animals, usually animals are always shipped in like a styrofoam container or something like that. But this particular animal has to, by law, shipped in a crate. A wooden crate. So sitting beside me on the side there, that's our new little critter. I'm pretty excited about it. It just kind of happened. Oh well, what are we gonna do? It's here now. So let's get it home. All right, I believe I mentioned earlier that we're going to be using one of these incredible PVC cages from Greg West over at Cornell's World Terrariums. Check him out if you're in Canada. Incredible product, great delivery, all around impeccable service. Really awesome guy too. But this enclosure, I built it, was ready to go and everything. And then I found that background in my garage of all some of my older stuff. And that's one of those textured backgrounds. Now they're hollow in behind. They can be used in fish tanks and some in reptile tanks and stuff. And this was an old one that had a crack in it, so you can see where I've done the repair. But the problem being is that these items, I'm working with PVC, and some sealants don't work with PVC and some do. So the product they sent me was some sort of Alex Plus sealant. And I put it on and I sealed the bottom of the enclosure and everything was fine. And then I used it to try and bond the background to the back of the tank. And then I came back 24 hours later and it was still as if it just came out of the tube. So I had a bit of a situation there because I knew timeline was a bit of a factor. Now, I probably could have gone and found some other way of fastening. I could probably put some screws through that, through the ABS, blah, 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 whatever it is. You know, we could have done all sorts of things. But the animal in question that's going to be in this enclosure comes from obviously a desert type of habitat, a very arid habitat. And I really, really love using these type of things. And all the base is going to be supported by gravel and sand and so forth. But so then last night I went and did probably what I'm not. And I did. It's a messy as hell job, but I just put a nice heavy bead of silicone to seal all the holes, and I still left the one top slots of all the ventilation and everything there. Now you can see that I haven't even put the lid on the enclosure, and that's just because I was waiting for that to be all cured and ready to go. We're going to go and put that on now. But let's take a peek and see what's going to be on the lid. Here's what we're going to be working with for the lid. We are using the Reptorad 80, which is a radiant heat panel, and it's all metal construction. They're out of the UK, and it's a absolutely world-class product, top notch. We are using a Arcadia LED light. That is just a good quality light for providing a lot of light because this animal comes from high desert, so it's going to be out there basking in the sunlight. And then the other one is a sunblaster fixture, but it has a 34-inch T5 Arcadia desert bulb. So this is the high UV output T5. And then we're going to be controlling this cage using a Vivarium Electronics VE300. Let's go ahead and get this set up with some of the basic things that we're going to need. And then down the road, once we get it into the zoo, we'll do a more updated version and we'll really show out and really dress this enclosure up properly. So to start, we're going to need a lot of sand because the species is obviously an arid desert species. It's nothing special for sand. So honestly, I just hit up my local hardware store and got a nice big bag of play sand. And that'll suit the needs of this animal very well. All right, that was decidedly messy. I want to try to avoid getting sand in my track. This is a nice sand. It actually looks really good. I didn't want that flat kind of kids' play sand that's that super soft stuff. This has got some other textures and stuff in it. It was still sold at the hardware store as play sand, but any kind of sand is going to work, and mixed gravel and stuff. So down the road, I will be adding some different aggregates to it. Now, this is an animal that generally, to avoid the real hot of the day, can come out in sun as it wish and basks, but then it can also go into and retreat into different burrows. So for now, we're going to be using a lot of the different types of hides. And we'll lay a burrow in there. I do have another entire bag of sand that we can use, but in the event that I do want to potentially move this enclosure a bit, I don't want to go and put 150 pounds worth of sand in there. So we've got a nice piece of cork bark as well. And then we're going to be adding a big water dish. Now, this is a species that obviously comes from, like I said, a very, very arid environment, but it could still benefit from having a water dish that it can at least, get its full body into. This is probably a little bit better. They'll let it get it up a little bit higher. We'll put the water dish right at the front so it's easy to maintain without any issue. There's nowhere for the animal to hide in this area, so we won't see it. So basically we're looking at, we want to provide a natural daylight cycle. So all that UVB lighting and all that LED lighting, that's all going to be put onto timers and everything will be controlled. For ambient temperature using that radiant heat pad, we're going to be wanting to get this enclosure 24 to 27 degrees Celsius. That's about 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. But in that hot spot, kind of where it can bask here, we wanted about 88, no higher than about 90 degrees. All right, guess we're ready to see what's in the box. Now, if anyone has experience shipping reptiles, when you get a reptile that's in a wooden box or a crate, there's a reason for it. It means the animal is potentially dangerous. This animal is a highly venomous animal. I don't know if you heard me over that, but it's a highly venomous animal, and it's North American. So, what do you guys think it is? Some of you may know. There it is right there. Guess everybody can guess what it is because you can see it. It is one chunky monster of a Heloderma suspectum, the Gila monster. So, we're going to go and get him out of his enclosure. Now, to work with this animal, these animals are known to be very, very docile by nature. So that, they're only ever going to bite. They are highly, highly venomous. They're generally very, very easy to handle. Unless provoked, they're never going to cause a problem for you. If you all want to work with stuff like this, you should have some protection of some sort. So it's nice that the individual shipped this one. The head is right here. I'm just using, these are one of my snips. I'm just going to be cutting this zip tie off, keeping my hands away. The one nice thing about shipping this animal in this type of bag is you can actually see it. So that is very, very much appreciated. You can see where the head is, so forth. Back in the day, that was something that was always very, very challenging. I'm going to flip you around, buddy. Yeah. Now we're going to undo your bag. And then we're going to see if you just want to kind of come out on your own. Let's see what we got here. And landing one of these apparently can be as simple as that. Come on. I've never kept a Gila monster before, and they have an incredibly different texture to them. After his journey, he's going to go and burrow. Maybe he's going to explore a little bit here. Check, you maybe have a nice big drink. Well, this is Hector. And as I mentioned, Hector is a Gila monster. Heloderma suspectum. And is one of the very few truly venomous lizards. Look at the size of that spade-shaped head with those big muscular jowls. This is an animal that could definitely deliver a ferocious bite, but adding a very, very toxic venom to the mix makes it a truly animal worthy of respect. Now, Gila monsters have a fairly wide distribution. All throughout the southwest in the dry desert scrub-like habitats, all the way down into Mexico. And they're called the Gila monsters because their first discoveries were in the Gila River Basin in Arizona. The cryptic patterning and coloration enables them to kind of blend in with their surroundings a little bit better. And the different types of them, the different skin, as I mentioned, the really thick beaded skin helps protect them from desiccation or drying out. And the large club-like tail is used for storing fat so they can go long periods of time between meals. Surviving in the wild in these type of habitats is a challenge, so this animal has evolved very specialized traits to live there. I think he is truly fascinating, and we are truly blessed to have him here at Realm Natura. We'll do a more detailed video on him a little bit more further down the road, but for now, we just wanted to introduce you guys to Hector. Till next time, my friends, take care.